You know, I'm sitting here now, 82 years into this thing they call life, and I finally figured something out. Something most people spend their entire existence trying to understand. I learned it the hard way, the slow way, the way that costs you everything before it teaches you anything. Nobody and nothing will ever hurt you again. Not because the world suddenly became kind, oh no. The world is still sharp, still cruel, still indifferent, but because I finally built something that nothing can penetrate. Not love, not betrayal, not even loneliness. I built walls, perfect walls. And let me tell you, these walls saved my life, and they also destroyed it. See, when I was young, maybe around your age, I was soft, dangerously soft. I trusted people. I believed them when they said forever. I opened my chest and showed them my beating heart, and I said, here it is, be gentle. And do you know what they did? They weren't gentle. My father, he was the first architect of my armor. He was a man who believed that feelings were a luxury, weakness, a flaw in the design of a man. I remember I was maybe 7 years old, and I came home crying because the boys at school had beaten me. Fists and boots and laughter. I ran to him, tears streaming, snot running down my face. I wanted comfort. I wanted him to hold me. He looked at me the way you'd look at a dog that pissed on the carpet. He said, "Stop that crying, boy, right now. Men don't cry. Men don't break." So I stopped. I swallowed it. I pushed it down deep into my gut, where it sat like a stone. And from that day forward, I learned. I learned that to show pain was to invite more pain. I learned that vulnerability wasn't courage, it was stupidity. So I started building, brick by brick, year by year. I built walls so high that nothing could touch me. And you know what? It worked. For a while, it worked beautifully. I became untouchable. I became the man who never flinched, never broke, never needed anyone. People respected that. They admired it. They said, "Look at him, so strong, so steady." But nobody said, "Look at him, so alone." There was a woman. Of course there was. Her name was Eleanor. Eleanor had this way about her. She was warm. That's the word. She was the kind of woman who could walk into a cold room and make it feel like summer. She laughed with her whole body. She cried when she heard sad songs on the radio. She felt everything, deeply, unapologetically, and for some reason she loved me, or at least she tried to. We were married for 11 years. 11 years of her trying to find a way inside. 11 years of her knocking on my walls saying, "Let me in, please, just let me in." But I couldn't. Every time she got close, every time she asked me how I was really feeling, I'd deflect, I'd joke, I'd change the subject. I'd say, "I'm fine, Eleanor, everything's fine." But it wasn't fine. I was dying inside, starving for connection. But the walls wouldn't let me reach out. One night we were sitting at the dinner table. It was quiet, too quiet. She looked at me with those eyes, those tired, sad eyes, and she said, "Do you even love me, Thomas?" I should have said yes. I should have told her the truth, that I loved her more than anything, that she was the only good thing in my life. But the walls, they wouldn't let the words out. I just looked at her and said, "Of course I do." Flat, emotionless, like I was confirming the weather. She nodded. She didn't believe me. And 2 months later, she left. She said, "I can't love a ghost, Thomas. I can't spend my life knocking on a door that will never open." And she walked out, and I let her go. I told myself it was for the best. I told myself I didn't need her. I didn't need anyone. The walls kept me safe. But here's the thing about walls. They keep the pain out, sure. But they also keep everything else out: the love, the warmth, the laughter, the small, beautiful moments that make life worth living. I spent the next 30 years, alone. Not just physically alone, spiritually alone. I went to work, I came home, I ate dinner in silence. I watched other people live, through windows, through screens. I became a spectator in my own life. People stopped inviting me places. They stopped calling, not because they didn't care, but because I'd trained them. I'd trained them to believe I didn't need them. And eventually they believed it. I believed it too. I told myself, this is strength. This is control. This is freedom. But freedom is a funny word when you're locked in a cage you built yourself. You see, when you build walls to keep the hurt out, you don't realize you're also locking yourself in. You become a prisoner of your own protection. And the worst part, the cruelest part, is that you don't even realize it until it's too late. Until you're 82 years old, sitting in an empty apartment, and you realize that nobody is coming. Not because they don't care, but because you spent your entire life teaching them not to. I look back now, and I see it so clearly. All those moments I could have been brave. All those times I could have said, I'm scared, I'm hurting, I need you. But I didn't, because I thought vulnerability was weakness. I thought opening up was the same as giving up. But here's what I know now. Here's what I wish I could go back and tell that 7-year-old boy with the tears on his face. Vulnerability isn't weakness. It's the only real strength there is, because it takes no courage to shut people out. Any coward can build a wall, but it takes real bravery to let someone in, to stand there exposed and say, this is me, this is all of me, the broken parts, the scared parts, the parts I don't even like. That's courage. And I never had it. I thought I was protecting myself. But what I was really doing was suffocating myself slowly, quietly, until there was nothing left but the walls. I think about Eleanor sometimes. I wonder what would have happened if I'd just been honest. If I'd looked at her that night and said, yes, I love you. I'm terrified of losing you. I don't know how to show it, but you're everything to me. Maybe she would have stayed. Maybe we could have had a life together. But I'll never know, because I chose the walls instead. I chose safety over love. And now, at 82, I'm safe. Nobody can hurt me. Nobody can break me. But nobody can reach me either. And that is a special kind of hell. See, when you spend your whole life avoiding pain, you also avoid joy. You avoid connection. You avoid meaning. You avoid the very thing that makes life worth living. You know, there's a myth people believe. They think that if they just protect themselves enough, if they just keep everyone at arm's length, they'll be fine. They'll be strong. They'll be invincible. But that's not strength. That's just fear dressed up in armor. Real strength is letting people see you, really see you. The messy parts, the vulnerable parts, the parts that shake and cry and need. Real strength is saying, I don't have it all together, and that's okay. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Life is supposed to hurt sometimes. Love is supposed to hurt sometimes. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know you're alive. When you try to eliminate all pain from your life, you're not living. You're just existing. You're a statue in a museum, admired from a distance, never touched. And what's the point of that? I've been thinking a lot lately about what I'd do differently. If I could go back, if I could start over, I'd let myself feel. I'd let myself cry. I'd let myself need people. I'd tell my father that I didn't want to be the kind of man who never breaks, because the men who never break are the men who never truly live. I'd tell Eleanor the truth every single day. I'd say, I'm scared. I don't know what I'm doing, but I love you, and I'm trying. I'd let people in, not just halfway, not just when it was convenient, all the way. I'd risk the pain. I'd risk the heartbreak, because even a life with heartbreak is better than a life with nothing. But I can't go back. All I can do now is sit here in this apartment and watch the world through the window. I see young people walking by, couples holding hands, families laughing, and I feel something. It's not quite sadness. It's deeper than that. It's regret. Not for the things I did, but for the things I didn't do, the walls I didn't tear down, the love I didn't let in, the life I didn't live. People think old age is about losing things, your health, your hair, your memory. But that's not what hurts. What hurts is realizing that you wasted the most important thing you had, time. And not just time, opportunity. The opportunity to connect, to love, to be loved. I had that opportunity over and over again, and I chose the walls every single time. So now here I am, 82 years old, safe, protected, untouchable, and utterly, completely alone. Nobody and nothing will ever hurt me again. Not because I'm strong, but because there's nothing left to hurt. I've successfully eliminated all the threats, and in doing so, I eliminated all the meaning. If you're listening to this, if you're still young enough to change, please don't make my mistake. Don't confuse protection with strength. Don't confuse isolation with independence. Don't spend your life building walls when what you really need are bridges. Let people in, even when it's scary, especially when it's scary. Let yourself be seen. Let yourself be known. Let yourself need someone. Because the truth is, we're not meant to be islands. We're meant to be connected, intertwined, messy and complicated and beautifully human. And yes, that means you'll get hurt sometimes. Love will break your heart. Friends will disappoint you. People will let you down. But that's part of it. That's part of being alive. And I promise you, the pain of vulnerability is nothing compared to the pain of a life spent alone. I know because I've lived both. And I'd take the heartbreak over the emptiness any day. But for me, it's too late. The walls are too high, too thick, too permanent. I built them too well, and now I'm trapped inside them. But you still have time. You can still tear them down. You can still choose connection over protection. You can still choose to live instead of just survive. So please do it. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people who love you. Do it for the life you deserve. Because nobody and nothing will ever hurt you again. It's not the blessing you think it is. It's a curse. And I've been living it for 60 years. Don't follow me down this path. Don't become a monument to safety. Become a testament to courage, to love, to vulnerability, to life, because in the end, that's all that matters. Not how much pain you avoided, but how much love you allowed. And I didn't allow nearly enough. So now I sit here in my silent apartment with my perfect walls and my empty heart, and I think about Eleanor, And I think about all the people I pushed away. And I think about the life I could have had. If only I'd been brave enough to let someone in. If only I'd understood that the greatest risk isn't getting hurt. It's never truly living at all. So that's my warning. That's the only thing I can offer you after 82 years. Nobody and nothing will ever hurt you again. Sounds like peace. But it's not. It's death. It's a life where you're breathing, but not alive, moving, but not living, surviving, but not thriving. Don't do what I did. Don't trade your humanity for safety. Don't trade your heart for armor, because the armor gets so heavy, and eventually you'll realize that the only thing it's protecting is the emptiness inside. And by then it's too late to take it off. I suppose that's all I have to say. Not that anyone's listening, but maybe someone out there needs to hear it. Maybe someone out there is standing at the same crossroads I stood at 60 years ago. And maybe, just maybe, they'll make a different choice. They'll choose the heartbreak over the emptiness. They'll choose the mess over the silence. They'll choose to live, really live, even if it hurts, because it will hurt. But God, it's worth it. I wish I'd known that sooner. I wish I'd been brave enough to find out, but I wasn't. And now all I have are these walls, and the haunting, crushing realization that I built my own prison and called it strength. Don't make my mistake, please, just don't.